Cool.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Today we have Ed Rodriguez with us. Ed is a digital marketing professional who runs operations at Traffic Routes. Traffic Routes is a marketing technology platform that helps wise companies such as Cannabis, CBD, vapes attract visitors, convert leads, and close customers. Ed has over 6 years in the field of digital marketing and has been working with CBD and cannabis companies for over 4 years. To date, Ed has worked with hundreds of CBD companies worldwide, currently focused on recreational markets in the US and Canada, but has expanded in EU as regulations began to progress. Currently, based out of Southern California, Ed is eager to bring his expertise into EU market and help cannabis companies scale. Ed, thank you so much for joining us and staying up so late today. Can you tell us a little bit more? Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, Traffic Routes, and then we're going to open up to live Q&As from our audience.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the warm introduction. Myself, like I said, I am based out of California. Our goal that we established, given the fact that the cannabis market has continued to grow, cannabis did not go recreational in California until 2018. It was medical. We saw the opportunity. We saw that there was essentially not many avenues for cannabis brands to advertise. The main avenues for advertisement for cannabis brands, back in 2016 were, magazines, word of mouth, and, then they started kind of upgrading to billboards, which really are not effective marketing tools in today's market. Obviously, we see companies like Amazon, and we see, companies that continue to go under because they don't optimize and they don't move to an e-commerce model. So what we did is we built our own technology to be able to service the industry, to be able to provide the industry not only a digital outlet, but provide them a tool and marketing technology that's able to give them all the data points, give them all the targeting that's available to them on mainstream sources like Facebook, like Google. A lot of people will tell you there's certain things that you can do or can't do on Facebook. Facebook will not take on dispensaries. They will not take on tobacco. They will not take on CBD. They will not take on hemp. So there's a lot of verticals and brands that they won't take on, and a lot of brands begin to establish their digital strategy and then go into somewhere like Facebook and get shut down, or they begin to build up a Facebook and then build up a fan base. And then not only does Facebook shut down your ads, but they'll shut down your entire account, your entire page, and all of your followers. And it's a tough place to be in, whether you are a brand or if you're an agency that, a brand has trusted you with their assets and, their real estate, their digital real estate, which is a horrible place to be in. So as I mentioned, we built our own technology to be able to service the industry. Gives you the ability to target, do geo-targeting, digital ads, end up on websites, mainstream websites, as opposed to just showing up on, sites that are very recreational. Given the fact that something like CBD isn't as recreational as a dispensary would be on our end, CBD would be more focused on maybe, a wellness market or beauty market. So there's different type of markets that CBD can go after. So we've provided different SKUs of traffic where we have sites that are music sites, health and wellness sites, websites that are based on sports, or just news in general. So more sites that have a lot more traffic and a lot more engagement from users. And we continue to, like I said, provide you the tools that give you different data points to be able to do testing, to be able to decide which sites work best for you, which ads are working better for you, what kind of data you're getting back, what kind of rates you're getting back. We run on a CPM pricing model, which is a cost per milli, which means we price on every 1,000 impressions, there's a price. So you are able to bid on those impressions and get the best rate that you can. We give you all the data points that allow you to see what your click-through rate is, what your cost per click is, to be able to lower those numbers and to achieve the best results that you can, along with all of our targeting tools. We provide you our retargeting pixel. So you guys are not familiar with retargeting. Retargeting is that wonderful tool that makes you feel like the internet is following you. So we we can help you with a retargeting pixel placed on the site, your client site, and essentially cookie users that are landing on your site to be able to create an audience of everyone that's landing on your site in order to retarget them throughout our network and get them to come back and make a purchase. So that's kind of, you know, some of the tools that you do want to have in place, along with a conversion pixel to be able to track traffic on how it's performing. So you're really able to hone in on what's working and what's not working. As far as that, I think that there's a good amount of tools, as I mentioned, that you can use, but we do have two different models of our platform, whether it's our managed services, where we have our managed media buyers run it, or if you want to run it yourself, we do have a self-serve platform, which gives you all the transparency for you to be able to run everything all your assets and see all the results. However, that does depend on what kind of experience you have and what kind of strategy you have put together. Our media buyers are experienced media buyers that can provide you, you know, a strategy and really know the traffic on how it's working. So a lot of, you know, brands or agencies say, hey, I'd rather have your team run it and report back to me and get together to put a strategy together to make it work for our team. I think that's kind of the gist of it. If there's any questions there, if there's anything that you guys want me to cover, I'd be happy to cover any questions you guys may have.
Beautiful. I think we should open them straight to the audience because I think you covered pretty much everything that your platform stands for, and I think it's just best to just open up to people to ask questions. So if anyone has a question, just please let me know. You can unmute yourself, or I can unmute you, or you can send your question in the chat box. So does anyone have any question?
I hope so.
Well, while we wait, I would love to know success rates. And if you maybe could compare that to, as an example, I know that CBD and cannabis brands can't advertise on Google AdWords or social media, but if you were to compare between the two, some kind of statistic that you have, or just an average, that would be great.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I never tell my clients to only run with us. Obviously, from a digital marketing perspective, you want to have different avenues of marketing. That's why you do want something like retargeting placed on your site in order to either you're gathering emails and doing email marketing and just utilizing us as a tool, part of your, you know, your digital marketing strategy. So in comparison, I would say to something like social media, it's a little bit different in the sense that you could send people directly to your site. You can get, you know, higher views that are going to your site and a lot more exposure, as opposed to something like if you're going organic on social media, then, you know, the algorithm kind of only shows it to people that are available to see your content, or even something as bad as shadow banning your account. So a lot of the times what we see with something like Instagram is accounts being not shown to anybody. So you're not necessarily banned, but your content isn't just being shown. So I would say that when it comes to that, we get 100% viewability on your ads. We are able to, you know, show you the stats on what kind of views you're getting on any given site, and really for you to get a lot more granular on that data.
Great, thank you, Ed. Hamid has a question. Hamid, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Ed.
How you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. So I work in the digital industry, and I've worked with programmatic as well, currently as well as in the past. And yeah. I'm sure you know that the new iOS 14 that is coming out is causing some problems within the programmatic space. And what that's actually doing is, for anyone else who's not too sure, is that it's giving mobile users the option to agree or not to agree to kind of give personal data. And I know that, or access, give, you know, other apps access to your data. And I know that programmatic, you know, has, you know, there's a lot to do with targeting that programmatic really does kind of take, you know, that it basically utilizes to be able to target the right kind of customers and etc., to be able to put the ad in the right place at the right time and all that kind of stuff. So I was just curious just to know that, what is it that you guys are doing to prepare for that?
To be honest, it's something that we already kind of proactively have been working on. I mean, to compare to like, you know, the EU market with GDPR, it really comes down to data management. And so it really comes down to making data anonymous and not really allowing, you know, users to be able to sell the data. That's really the biggest important part. I know that, you know, as things continue to grow and change, we have to adjust. And so from what we've seen and the way that we collect data, it's a different, you know, there's a lot of different avenues for us to do it, and we have a lot of data, you know, data partners and data sources that we can connect to and make sure everything's safe. I think that, you know, there's always something that comes out. To be honest, there's always a regulation. I mean, in California, we had the Consumer Privacy Act. So we always continue to stay ahead of it, just because we do realize that that's something that people continue to be concerned about. And to be honest, I mean, the users that are continuing to, you know, maybe turning off those functions are usually not going to be the best converting users. The way that we see it is, you know, an ad isn't bothersome, you know, unless it's something you want. So when it's something you don't want, that's when an ad is bothersome. So we can reach the right people in the right places. We continue to innovate on our end to be able to find the best resources to do that. And that's more on a mainstream level as well. Obviously, you know, things continue to engage. So
cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ed, we have a question from Salar, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. The question goes, could you give us more info with regards to the localization? We're in the UK and sell to a few countries in the EU too. We're not allowed to sell in the US due to payment gateway restrictions.
Yeah, I think that's the nature of our call. I apologize if it sounds like it's very US based. We do work with a lot of companies in the UK and the EU, where, you know, as we mentioned earlier, I was mentioning to Paul about markets like Israel, like you know, Spain and Australia that continue to grow. So as far as, you know, as far as being able to process payments and all that goes, obviously that's a different animal outside of our, you know, jurisdiction, but it is something that we can work with as far as, you know, localizing your campaigns, whether it be to just the UK or if you want to expand to different territories outside of the UK within the EU. We can definitely provide you traffic. It's just something that, you know, we definitely look into to say what kind of volumes are within those areas and what's your, you know, what kind of reach do you have and which countries can you actually, you know, deliver to and have a presence in.
So how do you form partnerships with publication or with publishers across the world?
It's a little bit of everything. So we do have a lot of direct sites that sign up directly with our platform and place our code on their site, and we essentially buy traffic in, you know, directly from them and send them ads. We also have partnerships with different traffic sources that allow us to expand our traffic reach, you know, to expand on some of that mobile traffic on whether it may be different types of inventory. I think that's something that I maybe failed to mention on whether we're looking for video inventory, we're looking for display inventory or native of that sense. So and in that same sense is also looking to match different audiences. So maybe we need more traffic of a certain demographic and providing, you know, having those channels available to us. All of our traffic partners and publishers understand that what's coming through us is going to be vetted. So anytime you place an ad with us, it does go through a vetting process where our ad ops team must approve those ads. So we have, you know, technology is able to really go through it and make sure that everything is compliant. Obviously in this industry, compliance is a big deal. So, you know, on our end, we want to keep not only ourselves safe, but, you know, your advertising safe and make sure that everything's good. The worst that can happen on our end is we shut down your ad creative and we tell you to go create another one. We're not going to shut down your account unless you're doing, you know, something that's malicious.
You mentioned different types of creative. Can you just elaborate a little bit more, just because not everyone within our listeners has a marketing background?
Yeah. So when it comes to creative, we do have display. So display would be, the ads that you see on the side, when you go into a website, you see display ads that are along the edge or within articles, or at the bottom of an app. And it's whether it could be a PNG, a JPEG, or a GIF. A GIF would be kind of, changing and kind of more animated. Video assets would be something that shows up within, maybe you're watching a video and the video shows up, maybe a video is attached to the platform in the ad zone. And then a native ad would be the ads that you see that are built in a lot to articles. So maybe it's a related article and says, sponsored or something like that. And that allows you to kind of be more incognito or more integrated within the content of the site.
Perfect, thank you. We have just 10 minutes left, so does anyone have any other questions? Okay, Amit is asking, what kind of budget is needed? One-off budget and ongoing, and what is the ROI in your experience?
I think as far as budgets, I mean, we definitely recommend on having a budget that you can scale, for at least 90 days. I have clients right now that are spending, 20 grand a month on advertising because they're continuing to scale up and they're continuing to get back more data. They started maybe at a 10 grand mark and then now have been able to ramp up. And that's kind of the experience after collecting data, after seeing how, leveraging Google Analytics on their site, heat maps, everything that's going on their site to be able to capitalize on the traffic that's coming in, retarget that traffic and make it work. So I think that, I can sit here and tell you need 50 grand to make it work. But at the end of the day, it's really what the scalability of your business is. If you can start with 500 a month, that's great, and then scale up from there. Do testing. We always encourage the more testing, the better. As far as, creatives go, we encourage for you to upload as many creatives as you can so you can be able to test different messaging, different imaging, and be able to make that work. So as I mentioned, it's, we're a marketing platform. So you do have to come in with some kind of strategy, and, you don't want to just come in, firing blind. So you do want to have, a strategy when it comes to your ads and what your messaging is going to be and where you want to send these people, whether you have landing pages or whether you have, a certain page on the site where they're landing, or you're having them land on the home page because you want to collect their email. So there's different strategies. And like I said, it really depends on where the scalability is for you, and how you want to make that work. As far as our managed services, you do have to have at least 5 grand a month ad spend. And we do charge a 20% management fee for that because our buyers do have curated audiences that they can
trying to do something similar to Swede.
Yeah, what was that?
I didn't catch that. It's okay. Did you finish with answering? Because we have a couple more questions.
Yeah, I see. Do we work with Bespoke email advertising?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with Bespoke.
Okay. Well, we can unmute Emily so she can clarify.
Okay.
Just a second. And in the meantime, is whole your team based in US, or do you have European representatives as well?
All of our team is based in the US. We do have a couple partnerships, as we mentioned in the UK and EU. We're continuing to grow, but most of our team is based out of the US.
Okay, thank you. Emily, could you please clarify on your question?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Ed. I've had experience in the past where we've used bespoke email campaigns where we've sent email campaigns directly to people's inboxes through publications or associations. And I was just wondering if you've had any experience in that, because we've found that to be the most effective way of lead generation.
As far as, I mean, as far as our platform, we don't directly connect to emails, but I mean, do have experience with email marketing. I think that, you know, like I mentioned previously, it's a lot of advertisers utilize our platform to be able to drive users back and collect leads to be able to drive more emails. We are working on a few things that may allow us to get a little bit more data at the email level. It's a little bit tough when it comes to tracking on email, as you know, given that you could only track when an email is open. So that makes it a little bit of a challenge. And also kind of the data side of that as well to kind of relay back to some of the data privacy stuff. So from an email perspective, we don't connect directly to emails. We can do more geo-targeting when it comes to client addresses and stuff like that. But email is a little bit tough because it's hard to connect programmatically.
Okay. Thank you.
While we wait for the last questions, I do have one quick one. Considering the number of campaigns you guys run for clients and the clients run through your platform, is there kind of like a pattern that you guys are seeing what makes a campaign successful? Or that or what kind of type of campaigns would kind of convert better? I know that this is really hard to pick out because every brand is different, every brand would have different assets. But if there are any similarities, that would be great to know.
Yeah, I think when it comes to strategy and, you know, as far as creatives and what works, I think that what we're seeing is, I mean, since your market is a little bit different and you're not really going so much into the recreational side of things, I think we do see a lot of the companies that are going after, you know, the atypical archetype, you know, that archetype of client that isn't so much the stoner, isn't the, you know, the Cheech and Chong, the type of, you know, that type of archetype that you see of when you think of cannabis. That isn't, you know, we see a lot more, you know, active users that are. Again, I think I'm getting some feedback on.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so we see a lot more like ads that are more active, utilizing a lot more imaging of, you know, people that are your usual, you know, maybe your younger demographic, and as well as we have seen a lot of success within the older demographic for CBD, whether it be for anxiety or inflammation, you know, more mobility. So kind of preaching the benefits of it, as opposed to just saying that you have the best CBD available. So more saying, you know, preaching solutions and education, as we mentioned earlier. That's what we've seen works a lot best. Giving people the resources that they can come back to, and just giving them, you know, the resources when they do land on your site to be able to see what the product can do, and kind of aligning your product along those lines. So what the goal is. So what we've seen a lot in the market is marketing your product as this is going to help you sleep. This might help, you know, it's going to help you relax. This is going to help you, you know, have a better day throughout the day, ease your stress. So instead of saying, you know, this is this many milligrams and this is just nice to let, you know, like a lot of people, that all this stuff just kind of goes over their head. So really putting things into layman's terms and making it simple for somebody to purchase that and get the proper education at the same time is what we've seen works really good. And just really the long-term, like I mentioned, the long-term strategy, once you really hone in on that client, to be able to find out what works. We see usually within 90 days, you're able to fine tune what, not only your marketing strategy, but also your production strategy. So you can know what products people are leaning towards more and what works better for you to be able to kind of work on manufacturing as well.
Wow, that's extremely useful. Thank you so much, Ed. Do we have any other questions?
Hi Ed, hi Christina. Yeah, just leading on from that really, Ed. What are the main differences that you see between marketing CBD products in the US than say into the UK market?
The main difference that I would see, I think that from what I've seen, and this is from, because I see a lot of CBD brands. I mean, I've probably gone through over 300 CBD brands. I have seen the branding in the UK be a lot better, which I think is a good thing. I think that the UK is doing it right in the sense that you're building brands and not just looking to sell CBD, which I think is the best route to go. A lot of brands within the cannabis market or CBD market within the US, a lot of the times I think CBD sells itself, and I think that within our market you see a lot of products that look very, very similar. And so what I've seen in the UK is I've seen a lot more creativity. Maybe it's because of saturation that we have here in the US, and people trying to just make a dash to try to to sell CBD and make a quick buck. But I have seen a lot of brands that are building up within the UK that are really focused on actually brand building and placing good branding around it that really brings through a message and has a different voice as opposed to just being CBD,
Okay, that's great. Do you see a lot more about sort of video promotion and video advertising?
Within video of the branding, you mean?
Yeah, and sort of using it to build your audience, really. Is that something that you see much more coming to the fore at the moment, or?
Yeah, I mean, as far as video goes, I think that it ties right back to, as I mentioned, some of the education stuff. So obviously, video is a great tool that allows you to push more information and do it succinctly. And something that's a little bit more engaging. We do see, video have a higher view through rate. And, I think about 73% of people who have seen a product video make a purchase. So it's always good to have, whether it's ads that are, have a video or video ads, or if you're leading people back to a page that has a video that is, kind of brings forward all the information of the brand and really has more of the view of the brand. And I think that's, to kind of circle back on the other question is having a purpose as well, is what we've seen definitely, resonates a lot better with the audience. It's a brand with a purpose and not just a product.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Ed.
We have one more question from Ahi. Ahi, could you please ask directly?
Yeah, sure. Hi. Thanks for your presentation. I'm a company in the Netherlands. I'm actually from Israel, but we are targeting European markets and preparing to target Israel when it will be legal. What's
Okay.
in your experience are the best online venues to advertise, to invest?
So through our network, you can access, hundreds of sites. So, our best experience, and, like as I mentioned before, we have in-house media buyers, and the way that we tackle it is whether, we establish a strategy initially of what the product is and what would be an ideal audience. And once given that, we go in and we test and see what sites are performing best. Whether it be, I can't tell you directly on what sites would be the best within the EU because it's so large. It would have to be location based. It also comes down to what kind of bids you're placing, what kind of budgets you're looking at. So there's different factors, even down to the factor of what type of size of the ad that you're running. So I would say that the best case scenario is for you to figure out what the strategy is that you're looking for, and then start there for us to begin to scale and look at what sites are going to perform best for your product. So I would definitely stick to, like I said, health and wellness sites. But we do see a lot of the music sites perform really well, just because people are, in a different state and, they're not, kind of focused on that one thing, and it catches their eye in order to get them to go to your site and get information. And usually the best tool after that, I would say, is the retargeting tool to get them to come back and then make the purchase when you see them on another site.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? We're kind of running over the time, so if there is any other questions, now would be a great time to ask. So we can let Ed go and sleep.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys can reach out to me. You know, I'll shout out my email. My email is just ed@Traffic Routes. So just ed@Traffic Routes if you have any questions. Or you can, you know, go to trafficroutes.com and you can submit for more information. And, you know, my team is pretty on top of all of our inquiries and getting back to you. So any questions you guys may have, any information, if you guys are looking for more information, happy to send you more information, and, you know, happy to continue to be a resource.
Perfect. And we will, of course, include all your contact information under the video when we send out to people and when we publish on YouTube and our website.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you everybody for joining. Like I said, feel free to reach out and be happy to help you out with anything you may need.
That's great, Ed. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
It looks like there are no other questions. So thank you so much, Ed, for joining us, and have a good night.
Thank you. You guys have a good night. Or good morning, sorry.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Goodbye.